Hey guys, Tyler. I'm here to do my 5-week update, and I'm also going to touch on how I got on testosterone without a T letter. I have been meaning to make that video, and also I don't have a lot to report this week as far as changes go, so I thought it would be okay to combine the two of them. So, we'll start with changes first. I mentioned in my last video how I had not started my period, and I did start a week late. I actually started, I think it was the day after I made that video. So it was very disappointing. But I noticed that it was lighter. So it's not, as heavy, and it's not lasting as long. I was more irritable this week about a lot of things, but I'm trying to decide if that had to do with, the testosterone or lack thereof, or if it was due to my period. I'm thinking that it was due to my period. I have been having a lot of night sweats. I get so hot so easily. One minute I will be just fine, and the next minute I'm burning up. But at night, it's so hot. I'm constantly hot and sweaty. I've gotten to where I have to take 2 showers a day because I'm disgusting at the end of the day, and I am gross when I get up in the morning from where I was sweating all night long. So, muscles are continuing to grow. Nothing different there, just they're getting bigger, stronger. You could see comparison photos on my Tumblr, and I'll put the link in my video. No anxiety. I don't have any anxiety at all anymore, and that is the best feeling in the world. I know I've mentioned that before, and I don't know how many of you out there struggle with anxiety and panic attacks and stuff, but that's zero now. I don't have any of that. I did have a little bit of depression this week about a couple of things, and it was a little new to me. I've had that before, but it hasn't happened since I started T, and this was the first time. But I think that was due to my period. I do have more focus, I'm noticing, especially when it comes to my schoolwork. I'm able to. I get frustrated really easily, but I think, once again, we talked about that a second ago. But I am able to focus, a little more. And last, I did get to up my dose this week. So I just did my shot right before I made this video. And I upped it to 75 milligrams a week. I probably won't go any higher than that for a while though. Now, as far as getting on testosterone, how I did it, or how I chose to do it, I did, I'm trying not to say so much, because I'm awful at that. So, when I first came out, I did see a gender therapist. I wasn't sure the different options and stuff, and I was talking to a gender therapist. It's always good to do this anyway, regardless of which way you go, because it's good to have a professional back you. And, especially when you're coming out to your family and stuff. It's a lot easier for them to understand it if you've taken the effort and the time to go and talk to a professional. I did not talk to a professional specifically for a T letter. She was able to give me one if I wanted one, but that's not why I was seeing her. I was seeing her to work out some other things and just to have her on my side. So, that being said, there are 2 ways that you can go about getting on T, and this is all about your area and what they offer and your age, etc. In my area, there are 2 ways, and that's the W path that everybody talks about, where you have to see a gender therapist, and then they usually make you see them for 2 to 3 months. I know some people get their T letter on their first visit, and I've never known anybody personally to do that, but supposedly it happens. I don't know. So you see the gender therapist. The gender therapist writes you your T letter when they feel like you're ready to start hormones. You take that to your endocrinologist, and you get blood work done. Sometimes you can go to your primary care physician, and they can do it. You get a panel done. It checks, your blood work and stuff to make sure that putting you on testosterone isn't going to damage you initially. Like, make sure your blood work is level enough to be able to safely start testosterone. Then they will give you your prescription, and a lot of times you have to go back to them and have your first 2 shots done there. The way that I went about getting on testosterone is I saw the gender therapist. I didn't have to see the gender therapist the way that I did it, but I did choose to see her while I was working out some details and, figuring out some options and stuff. My local clinic here, I do use Planned Parenthood. I don't know how many people are going to get pissed off at me for using Planned Parenthood. The Planned Parenthood in my area is awesome, and they're very respectful, and I just love them. Plus, I don't have health insurance, so it was relatively cheap for me to be able to start testosterone at Planned Parenthood. My very first visit when I got my blood work and stuff done, it was only $265, and that was out of pocket, no insurance at all. My prescription for testosterone without insurance is supposed to last me 6 months, 5-6 months, and that was $100. So, and that's with the needles and everything. So, in my opinion, this was a relatively cheap way for me to go about doing it since I don't have insurance. With that being said, I did use my local Planned Parenthood. All I had to do, I called them up on, I think it was a Monday or a Tuesday, and I asked if, they did informed consent. That's the way that I used, by the way. It's like WPATH, and then there's informed consent. I asked them if they used informed consent. They said yes. And so I made an appointment, and it was literally for the following Monday. So I made an appointment like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I can't remember which day it was. Had my appointment the next Monday. Went in there, signed some paperwork saying, yes, I understand what testosterone does to me. And then basically the doctor came in. She talked to me a little bit, just some very basic questions that any physician would ask you. And then she made sure that I understood, some of the effects of testosterone. And then she literally went into telling me what I can expect, as far as starting, like when I can start and stuff like that. She did my blood work. I left. My appointment was probably an hour. I didn't talk to her any more than 10 minutes probably. She wasn't in there very long at all. But I also already knew a lot of stuff about testosterone. I had done a lot of research at this point. I left. She called me called me Thursday and called in my script. So it was really quick, and I picked up my prescription and started T that Thursday. You have to be over 18 to be able to do it this way. They have to offer in your area to be able to do it this way. I know a lot of people, or a lot of areas, are starting to offer that as an option, informed consent. Also, a lot of, how can I say this? Like, my gender therapist that I was seeing at the time, she didn't realize that I was going informed consent. And she got a little irritated with me because she said she doesn't agree with informed consent because she says that there's a lot of things that you have to work out. And that is true. If you are unsure at all about what you're doing, or if you're ready to, you're not sure if you're ready to start T, then I do not suggest going informed consent because it was too easy and too quick, and you can make a mistake if you're not 100% sure that this is what you want to do, because there are other options besides going on hormones. And so she was a little agitated with me, but I'm 30 and I know what I wanted, and I didn't need her to tell me that. Granted, there are other things that, this is irritating me because it's off-center. There are other things that I have to work out, but it has nothing to do with going on testosterone. I'm the happiest I've ever been on testosterone. I cannot explain that enough to anybody, how happy I feel. So, with that all being said, I'm 5 weeks on T, and it is awesome, and I hope that this video was somewhat informative about steps to going on testosterone. If you have any questions, please feel free to inbox me I have my Tumblr Ask is open now, so you can go to my Tumblr and ask all kinds of stuff. Trying to make sure that's all I wanted to cover, and I think it is. I am wanting to, family, if you're listening and you don't want to know anything about like surgeries or anything like that, then please click away from this video because I'm going to talk about top surgery now. So I am pretty sure that I want to go with Dr. Garamoni. I don't know if you say Garamone or Garamoni. So if anybody out there has had surgery with him, I would love to hear your experience and how you feel about him, because I want to set up a phone consultation with him, but I'm trying to make sure he's who I want to go with for sure. And I can do that anytime. I'm ready to call him and make, set that up, because I want to have my top surgery before next summer. I'm trying to have it over spring break next year so that my chest can heal enough. I know it'll still be healing over the summer, but it can heal enough to where I can, go swimming and stuff like that and not have to worry about binding and all that mess. I'm ready to get that over with. So yeah, if you have any experience with, anybody really, just tell me about your experiences with top surgery, because I'm pretty sure I want to go with him, but if somebody has an opinion on someone else that I don't know about, then please. I live in North Carolina. I know that there's a guy in Gastonia. I can't remember his name. So if anybody knows who I'm talking about, then maybe you can inbox me. I don't know. Please just let me know your experiences with top surgery. And I will see you guys next week.